Hello my darlings, welcome back to Marion K Tarot. I hope you are well. This is going to be your week ahead reading for the 14th until the 20th of July 2025. And this week we are using the beautiful, the gorgeous Black Violet Tarot by Heidi Phelps. And it's a mass market version, and it is something that breaks my heart frequently when I think about it, that I did not manage to get a indie version of this deck when it was available. Now it's like you need to sell a kidney to try and get one. Okay, but the beautiful version here from Rockpool is gorgeous with this purple edging, and it's a black and white deck and it's gorgeous. So let's get into this. Let's see what's happening this week. Oof. Well, after the kind of chaos and in the huge week, of Uranus moving into Gemini, I reckon we should just try and take it a bit easy this week. She says optimistically. Okay, so let's see what we got. Have some cards please for the collective for July 14th to the 20th, please. Let's see. Okay, what have we got? Okay, at the bottom of the deck we have got the Knight of Pentacles. That's nice. We've got that kind of slow energy. That kind of slow journey, which is quite nice. It's reminding us here of the fact that slow and steady wins the race. Okay, that's the message that always comes through to me when I think about the Knight of Pentacles. It's like slow and steady. This knight has got its pentacle. They know their mission, they know where they're going, and they know that it doesn't matter how long it takes to get there. It's better getting there than not getting there, than going too quickly and maybe falling off their horse, etc. If they don't have a strong seat, etc. on their horse. That's metaphorical, and also some of you are watching this and you actually ride horses, and maybe just be a wee bit careful. Just saying, okay. What have we got for the main reading proper? Well, we have got the Eight of Swords showing up. We have got Death showing up, and we've got the Devil. What was that I was saying about having a nice calm week right at the beginning of this video? I don't know if we're going to have a calm week. We certainly might have a fun week, might be a week to have a bit of fun, just saying. Especially this Eight of Swords and the Devil showing up in a wee bit, and the Death in the middle. Right, let's read this properly, okay? Let's look at these cards and let's see where we're going, okay? So it's the beginning of the week, the energy of the week. It might be that kind of that imposed slowness that's showing up with the Knight of Pentacles here at the bottom of the deck. It could actually be that it's coming for you because you're tied up in your head about whatever is going on with you this week, whatever. It could be something that's coming forward from the week previously, maybe that weekend, maybe the 12th, 13th of July. I know personally it's a challenging weekend for me, it's challenging dates. It might be something, that's you're kind of caught up in your head about. There's multiple decisions that you could be making, but it's almost like you're in that kind of analysis paralysis, and you're scared to, you're scared to go ahead and make the choice, make a decision. But it's like in making the decisions, you can set yourself free. Okay, the mental gymnastics that you have been going through, they can be left behind, okay? Because with the greatest of intentions, it's like free yourself, especially in this card. Doesn't look like anybody's coming to save her. you know, so save yourself this week. Save yourself the anguish this week and make the decisions. Sounds like, with regards to the death card coming up next to this, right? So the death card is Scorpio energy, right? Scorpio is all about the intensity, right? I know I've got quite a few Scorpios that follow me, and I adore yous all, but fuck me, yous are a bit intense, right? I'm not gonna lie. And sometimes that intensity, the rest of the zodiac is a bit like, whoa, Scorpio. But we need these endings, you know, and it's again, it can be like a bit of a energetic hangover we're still getting used to Uranus being in Gemini. You know, for the last, 6-7 years, we have had Uranus in Taurus, and it's been opposing Scorpio. You know, it's been in opposition to Scorpio. So it's like, let it go. You know, let all this anguish go. Some of us might be like, oh, but I don't want to leave. The changes are too much. I can't face any more changes, Mary, and blah, blah, blah. We can, and we will. And the greatest lesson that I have learned is, in life in general, is if you can find a way to move with the change, if you can embrace the change as opposed to opposing the change, it's like embrace the change but find your own way through it. Okay, it could be, I know there's like huge changes going on in different parts of the world, etc. Unprecedented changes. Okay, I'm not going to not acknowledge that, and I know it's a really scary time for a lot of people. But in the process of change, there's always a different way. So it's like, yes, these big changes are coming, and they're being implemented, okay, but there's always another way. Okay, there's always another way. It just takes some creative thinking. So if you're maybe lost in the thoughts of, oh well, that's it, it's like, this is it and I just need to accept that. Sometimes for a while we need to accept things, but give yourself some time to like recalibrate your nervous system, time to kind of try and regulate itself. Okay, I feel like that's really important this time. What we have got is, we're finishing up here, and we're finishing up with the Devil. And this is like it's a pretty brutal Devil, to be honest. It's like this kind of it's like that character, it's like the Devil there, like, she reminds me of Maleficent. With the horns, but it's like these two characters like are being dragged along. And that speaks again to the whole idea of change. It's like being dragged into this change, kicking and screaming because you don't want to. And I get that, because it's like, it's scary and it's like unknown and it's uncharted territory. However, it's like concentrating what you have got control over, right? Remember, it's like the Devil is about control. And it's your choice. Control is a really interesting concept. It's like, do we allow, there is some circumstances where we give permission for other people to control us in certain circumstances, and that consent thing, but if our control is taken from us without our consent, then that's a different thing entirely. So it's like, what is it we can control, right? You can't control the weather, right? The weather is its own thing, right? You cannot control governments, okay? You cannot control major things. What you can control is how you consume media, how you consume news, how you consume conversations with people, how you can consume your social media. Okay, it's okay to give yourself permission to switch it off. You know, if you are maybe having a conversation with somebody in your life, maybe a family member, a loved one, and it's harder to say, look, I really don't want to have this conversation, try changing the subject, or say, look, I appreciate what you're saying, but at this point in time, I am unable to engage fully with this. You know, and try and make that choice for yourself. To not engage with conversations like that. You know, if you're at your work, if it's possible, you know, if maybe like two of your colleagues are having a conversation and you're unable to, you know, you're not participating but you're still hearing it, so maybe excuse yourself to like the bathroom, the toilet, you know, the restroom, maybe go and make yourself a coffee, if you're able to take a break, you know, it's like, or just, I don't know, go to a filing cabinet. Do they still have filing cabinets in offices? I don't know. But, you know, remove yourself from that physical presence. Maybe carry some crystals. You know, if you're watching tarot videos, then you're probably going to be, you know, have a couple of crystals kicking about. Some smoky quartz, some black tourmaline, some black obsidian, you know, some rainbow obsidian, something like that, you know, something to keep you grounded, something that you can concentrate on. You know, a wee bit of selenite, you know, carry that about with you, just so you've got something to channel any difficulties that you're having, you know, any kind of a challenging emotions, etc. A bit of rose quartz, you know, a wee bit of amethyst. If you don't have these crystals, you know, it's no difficult to pick them up. If it's something that isn't really acceptable where you are in the world, get yourself a wee bit of jewellery, you know, get yourself a pendant with a wee bit of rose quartz in it, or a wee bit of amethyst in it, you know, it's jewellery, you know, and people don't bat an eyelid about jewellery. You can get these things quite inexpensively. You know, just so you've got a wee something, you know, like a wee talisman, a wee touchstone, just to kind of channel that energy and any difficulties that you're having. Okay, so that's quite an intense reading for the week coming up. So I will be available for readings this week. I sign off on the 20th. So yeah, so this will be the last week you can work with me. Then I'm going on my summer holidays, so I'm very excited about that. I'll just be away for like about a week and a half, something like that. But there'll be a video next week. It's okay. It'll be pre-recorded. So I will never forget about you. So yeah, so just be careful, everybody, okay? And again, thanks so much for the support. I adore you all. Give me a wee, if you feel inclined, give me a wee like. If you watch this and don't subscribe, if you fancy subscribing, I would love that. It'd be great. Come and join the fun. And yeah, so just take it easy. Okay, remember that you can only control what you can control. Okay? Right, take care, my darlings. Bye-bye.